like the last time we played it. There's a couple small details, and I really feel like the swaps you made got them right. Would love to play first. So this is definitely something that's a touch awkward in this deck occasionally. Well, we have Courser with Domri 2 Dimir Spy, which definitely helps. I think Courser Domri definitely makes things a little bit less awkward. So I don't think Blood Moon is that good on average in this format, especially when I've got like these Raging Ravines in my hand, and like I've got these Tarmogoyf, but not only do I not have a fetch land, but this deck like doesn't have discard spells to make it better. So I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. And I'm sure we're just gonna like let everybody check the close 7 into Unkeepable 6 off their bingo card here. Great, this hand's actually pretty good. There's one Blood Moon in this deck, and it was just in both of our first two openers there. Knight of Saint Traft. Thanks very much for the 7-month resubscription. Welcome back, I do appreciate it. Yep, I played a bunch of Standard when Domri and Courser were legal. So we have our Nerd Ape here. It's gonna do a wonderful Kurt Ape impression. I actually kind of like this card in general. Not only is it like a 2/3 when you have a fetch land to pair with it, but just like a 1-mana 1/2 Death Touch. Modern is a format that's very much about attacking and blocking in most of your games. So like the fact that this card can like it's kind of like a lightning bolt in a way, right? Like it's this card that can apply pressure to my opponent, but it can also just like trade with a bigger creature than it in combat and like trade up on resources. It could be Cheerios, could be Ad Nauseam, could be some kind of control deck or Tempo Brew, could be Spirits. There's been a lot of blue-white Spirits recently. Unless we draw a basic Forest or a fetch land for the turn, we're going to play Courser on 3, because I don't want to play Blood Moon and lock myself out of Courser, especially when my opponent has a basic and Blood Moon might not be that impactful. 3rd month of free lunch money. Screw the desktop site on mobile. Scouty, thanks for going through and doing that on mobile. I appreciate it. Thank you for the quarter of your support. Welcome back. General's fine, Wannabe Beetle. Alright, what do we got here? Meddling Mage after name like Burning Tree Emissary or Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt's a pretty conservative name here. Like, pretty good shot that like Stomping Ground there's 4 Lightning Bolts in my deck, right? Yeah, I like that name from the opponent. I think that's a very, very smart name on their part. I'm just going to go ahead and attack for 2 here, and then slam this Courser of Kruphix into play. Daily ad beds. Thank you, Chubby Grunt. I appreciate it. Speak of the devil. These meddlesome kids. Are they just playing humans? I think they're just playing humans. I'm just gonna Blood Moon them here. I don't really have that many double green cards in my deck, right? It's like just Courser, I think. We have a bunch of forests we can draw to. Yeah, Coursers are only double green card, and we already got one of him in play, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them off of non-blue mana. I wonder if they're playing like something close to stock humans. The island is weird. The island makes me think they're doing something different. But Thalia's Lieutenant's a pretty specific card, right? There's a weird... Oh, it's just like blue-white hate bears, basically. Is there a specific reason the elf you have in play is a 1/2 in your estimation? You mean like why does it have an extra point of defense by default? I'm not actually sure. So I don't know if these Clasms and Returns are actually that good, especially against a deck that has Thalia's Lieutenant in it. I actually kind of feel like I don't really have much to bring in here, right? Interesting. It's not something I've seen. I'd believe you that it's something that's running around. I think this is definitely a place where, like, looking at this board, like, if you've watched me stream before, you'd probably know that I'm a pretty big fan of the card. I'm a pretty big fan of the Magic card, Abrade, and I think this is definitely the style of matchup. I think this is definitely the style of matchup. Yeah, I agree. I don't think I want this Blood Moon and this Magus the Moon post board just because, like, they got Blood Moon last time and we're going to be on the draw here. So I'm just going to bring in the K-Return and submit along with the Pia, I think. I think the lack of a Braid in the board's probably a mistake. Also, since I'm looking at this deck list now, I think it's a little bit strange to not have, like, access to, like, at least a singleton Reclamation Sage in the 75. Like, we've got these copies of Traverse the Ulvenwald, and we've got no way to go get a... Gosh, alright, I'm gonna be a good boy and mulligan this, but it's close. Alright, close 7 into Unkeepable 6. Nice and early, nice and early. Opponent also went to 5 here, so we've got that card. First opponent went to 4. Alright, and our 5's pretty good. Our 5 is pretty good. Yeah, Grudge is good in those matchups, but, like... Well, actually, Grudge isn't even that good against KCI for what it's worth. I think I'm gonna bolt... So, this is an interesting question. I feel like attacking the mana in this style of matchup is often wrong, so I'm actually not gonna do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and fetch a basic forest here and play this Renegade. I think bolting this Noble is a misuse of my resources. Yeah, in general, I'm not a huge fan of the 2 mana or the 2 damage sweepers. I'm definitely more of a fan of, like, Anger of the Gods or Slagstorm or stuff like that. Things along those lines. 2 damage comes up a lot short. Like, the fact that, like, those sweepers miss cards like Mantis Rider or, like, even this once it has a counter on it, I think is a pretty big deal. Yeah, the jump from 2 to 3 and the things you get by making that jump are pretty significant in my opinion. So here's where role assessment is important. Do I think I'm the beatdown? I think I'm going to attack just because if my opponent has a Thalia's Lieutenant, I'm not going to be able to block anyways because of Exalted. So I'm just going to get my guaranteed 2 points in here. Yeah, Sweltering Suns. Honestly, even targeted spot removal I think is better than the 2 damage sweepers by and large. Smuggler's Copter is actually pretty sweet here if this is a meddling mage because, like, they know Courser of Kruphix is in our hand, but, like, Smuggler's Copter just lets me, like, loot through it, which is absurd. $60 cards is a minimum, HOTS. So you are allowed to play more than 60. There's no maximum deck size. You do have to be able to sufficiently randomize it, though, like you mentioned. I'm gonna play Scavenging Ooze here. So, the reason to not bolt the bird on their mulligan to 4 is we don't keep up the great content. Thanks for teaching an old man EDH player how to play Modern. Thanks to you, Edibizzle, for the 3-month free subscription. Thanks for keeping me here. I appreciate it. The reason to not bolt the Noble Hierarch on 1 is because we don't know the context of their hand. So, like, you're saying there's no reason not to bolt it because you have future information. So, if the opponent's hand is all resources, all mana after their 4-card hand, and we bolt their thing, like, we feel bad about having bolted. If their hand has no resources in it after we bolt the thing, we feel bad about having not bolted. And I think the possible downside of them having more lands and then having a threat that we need to kill is bigger than the upside of, like, possibly stalling them on one land for a little while. Yep. So we're gonna take a hit for 5 here. Opponent's putting up a real fight. Honestly, I'm probably gonna loot through this at this point, right? Their deck is more than 33% mana punishing waterfalls because they also have Aether Vial. There's also Aether Vial in their deck, to be fair. Looter Scooter going to work. It's also a risk to reward situation. So, like, while you're right, we could win the game if they stumble on land. We also could lose the game if they just, like, have a couple of lands and a Mantis Rider there, right? They don't need a lot of mana to function. Like, if they have even just a second land, we feel bad about not having bolted the Noble Hierarch. Like, they played this entire game on 2 mana sources for a while. If they don't have another Reflector Mage here, we'll be in a pretty good spot. Thalia's Lieutenant isn't even really the end of the world because this kicks up to a 4/4 here, so it's going to hold Meddling Mage and Reflector Mage back, so we're only taking 3 on this attack. I guess they could get super aggressive and, like, ship everything in here, but that does not seem like a winning play for them. Lieutenant is good for them because Lieutenant means that Tarfire is not able to kill the Kitesail Freebooter to get us the Lightning Bolt back. Any last second words of advice? Consider being lucky and then don't be unlucky. Yeah, I agree with that too. I think in decks that are Aether Vial decks, attacking their mana is often wrong. All right, so I think I just crew up here. We're winning this race currently, right? Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and crew up here. And then go ahead and attack, because we could hit another red source before I play this land, right? We could loot into a red source here. This bolt does give me a way to kill the Kitesail Freebooter, though, so that's nice. Domri Rade. That lets me kill stuff too, huh? I'm gonna bin this Tarfire. And then I'll get to play a land, make a clue. Stumped, I'm gonna ask you to submit it via the form under the stream. I just don't look at decklist while I'm streaming because there's just too much going on. It just takes too much time to properly... Either I'll take too much time out of the stream to properly assess what the deck has going on, or I won't look at it long enough and I might accept something that's not something I'm willing to play. Yeah, no worries. No worries. There's it's bit.ly/Google submit, or there's a button in the stream information that says submit deck. So either of those are good. This will probably be a concession bolt. Opponent played like a real game of Magic considering they mulliganed to 4. But like, I guess we also started on 5, so we were just like, we're both behind resources this game. Honestly, some of the better games of Magic I think I've played are ones where like both players start on low amounts of cards. Just like both have to be a little bit more scrappy than usual. Field of Ruin with Tracker is just like A+ as always. So I can go ahead and field this and make another clue. And then I can bolt plus Domri here. That seems great for us. Oh, they're just playing 2 basics of their Humid deck. That's probably a good hedge against Jeskai, honestly. Look, if the Candyman is wrong, then I don't want to be right, chat. Both. There's a reason why the first two decks we're playing today both have 4 copies of Tracker in them. Copter's very good. I agree. Copter's also like an artifact that like makes getting Delirium easier for Traverse the Ulvenwald, and it makes our Tarmogoyf bigger once it dies. So like it serves like a multi-purpose. Definitely does a few different things that we're interested in having happen in this deck. Tracker's like the best landfall card ever printed, right? Like, not close. Yeah, this deck's just playing like good, honest Magic. Which, when you're not getting run out by something unfair, I think is definitely some of the sweetest Magic to play. Like, just have some quality Magic cards, some good synergies. I'm gonna keep this. No, Copter is not a creature as far as Domri is concerned. So, this might seem a little bit odd, but no, I can't afford it. I was gonna say, should I bin Courser just to make my Tarmogoyf bigger? That's probably absurd. I'm gonna bin the Magus of the Moon. I guess I should have let on the Mountain because they know about that. Maybe I'm supposed to bin the Smuggler's Copter. I could bin Copter. I mean, the Goyf is still medium-sized regardless of what I bin here. It's a shame they didn't have a fetch land here. If they had a fetch land, my Goyf couldn't die to Bolt. We're probably going to be a bit too slow on the draw here. We have 3 Baloths to bring in, which will be, like, reasonable, but, like, we don't have any acceleration in our deck, so, like, that is going to be just, like, a good, honest turn 4 Baloth. Which is likely a little bit too slow. Okay, well, the Lava Spike into the bin there means my Goyf survive Lightning Bolts, which is nice. The question is, like, can we survive to not die on, like, their turn 4? Chubbs with the 2-month resubscription. Thank you very much and welcome back. Thanks for re-upping and keeping me employed here for another month. Welcome. Oh, that's true. Bloodghast is a pretty popular one. I don't know. I feel like on a raw power level, Tireless Tracker is more powerful than that, but I definitely think that, like, that one's in contention that I hadn't considered. Rockin' Zare with that 11-month resubscription. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome back. I appreciate it. So, pretty good chance they just, like, if they have, like, double spell here, we're gonna die. They have 3 cards in their hand. They only have a 2-mana card. All right, that's okay for us. It's like not amazing, but it's fine. Like we still trade with the Goblin Guide. So like we're down to 6. I think I'm actually gonna, since we drew the Bolt, I'm gonna play the Tarmogoyf this turn because this is more likely to kill the Swift Spear. Having the Bolt up also means that like if my opponent has another Goblin Guide or another Swift Spear, we're less likely to die to that. Like, that being said, like, they have 2 cards and we're at 6. So, like, there's a pretty good chance they're just gonna go, like, kill you, kill you. Yeah, just, like, upstairs, upstairs, and we die. Like, they need to have another creature or a land here, or we're gonna be super dead. Yep. Not surprised to see the game end that way. Like I said, you're pretty hard-pressed to keep up with Burn, keeping a hand like we Captain. Like, obviously, I can't know we're playing against Burn, so it's definitely a little bit tough. Blood Moons are pretty bad, so I get to bring in this Spellskite and these 3 copies of Obstinate Baloth. Rhonas probably isn't particularly good here. We do actually have a good number of 1-mana things that we can have on the draw. I just didn't know that we were playing a matchup where we needed to mulligan aggressively for those. I think Klasm is too slow in this matchup. I guess it's only 2 mana. Maybe Klasm is okay. I guess Klasm's fine. Cut some Copters. I could see that. Domri's like removal that also turns into card advantage and has synergy with Courser. And I think Courser is one of our better cards in the matchup, so I kind of want to leave the Domri's in to maximize Courser's impact on the game. I definitely think we have the tools to win this game, but being down game 1 because of a slowish start is medium. If we went on the play game 1, we probably would have been okay. Winning the die roll against Burn is usually a pretty big deal in this style of deck. Well, huh. Well. I think I'm keeping this. Really want to draw some lands, though. I do have to fetch Shotgun 1, but I think it's a keep. We've been on long. We've been live for 25 minutes. I started early this morning. My goal is to get through 6 decks today, so yeah, my published start time is right now. But I want to get through 6 decks today. I want to sneak in a Blue-Red Fairies League at the end today, so wanted to make sure we had enough time. Those are Chandra's parents. Yeah, this hand is great. The thing that made me pause on this hand is the fact that, like, our land drop can get killed by a Searing Blaze. Yeah, I was running out of characters in my Twitch title, so it just says Blue-Red Delver and not Blue-Red Delver Fae. Delver, Fae, Tempo, Counterburn. I have to keep calling it Delver Fae at this point, just so when people search for it, they find all the stuff. What? I guess we showed them Tarmogoyf? A deal resolves, I guess? I shrug. All right, our opponent has definitely overboarded, but I'll take it. The Skooz not gaining life could be very relevant this game, to be fair. I'm going to play Domri to maximize our chances of finding a Baloth here. Is this a reading Domri pause? I guess Domri's been gone long enough that this could be a reading Domri pause, huh? I'm ready for this card to just never hit in 2 leagues. Yeah, reveal that one. We've assembled the dream team, chat. We're getting the dream team back together. $10 if you alt Domri. All right. In this match or just in the next 2 leagues? I feel like alting Domri in the next 2 leagues is like pretty reasonable. Because we've got 2 Domris in the next deck we're playing too. I like pulled this water bottle out of the back of my cabinet and like there's some kind of weird taste along the rim, and I don't know if it's just like leftover juice or something that Christy had in it previously, or if I'm like tasting soap that was left on it. I think we're gonna go get another water bottle here in a minute. It doesn't taste like mold. It tasted kind of fruity. I don't see anything on it. Death mold. Fruity mold, yep. Alright, let's play Courser out here. Watch it be like lightning bolt on top of our deck. Perfect. I'm gonna choose not to search here because I want the Courser that's on top of my deck. Oh, I guess I should have played this, right? Because it had Revolt. I didn't even think about that. I always forget that exiling triggers Revolt too. Definitely should have played this. You know, like untap and triple tap me, baby? Nope. All right. Piece of candy. Piece of candy on top of the deck, chat. We beat humans in the first match. We are currently down a game against Burn here. Am I dead? Feeling pretty dead. All right. I'm gonna go run and get a water bottle that doesn't taste like mold or death or whatever is going on with this one. I'll be right back. I'm gonna stand up when we get back to. I mean, you could argue that if the Rest in Peace and the Paths had just been cards that dealt damage, I'd have died sooner. Yeah, Burn is definitely a deck that's pretty difficult to interact with. Look, the only monster here is Stormbreath Dragon, okay, chat? I'm gonna go open the far window in my basement here. Let me know if there's too much background noise from that. Occasionally cars drive by. We actually have nice weather in the cornfields today. I don't have the AC on. Sometimes you can pick up cars driving by, but I didn't open the close window, open the far window, so hopefully we'll be fine. So this looks like 2 spells, but this is basically a land in this hand, so pretty easy mulligan. I stand by Thoughtseize is not the battle you want to be fighting against Burn. So I don't think that would count as a close 7. Humans or elves, or some other long forgotten tribe. Elf, got it? Good news, it means our Dryad Arbor is not going to die. This will be a matchup where those sweepers on our board will be pretty good. I'm going to grab a second red source here. And I just went ahead and fired off the first Traverse there because we're going to have a hard time getting to Delirium before we do anything else, just like use my mana this turn. Yeah, I think if you are leaving Thoughtseize in your deck post board against Burn, your deck you didn't think about or care about the Burn matchup when you constructed your deck. So while I agree that some cards like, say, Dark Confidant are worse than Thoughtseize, I think trying to paint Thoughtseize as being a reasonable card against Burn is an absurd stance to take. Oh no! Oh no! Chat, they're invading our lands. They're invading our lands. We're being attacked. They're coming for us. Hide your kids. Hide your wife. The elves are coming, and they're unblockable. Man, way to let them walk all over you, Dryad Arbor. Here, I thought you were on our team. Do I consider Land Walk a rancid mechanic? Yeah, it removes an interactive part of the game. So, like, mechanics that, like, remove interactive parts of the game for very little reason seems silly to me. All right, let's crack into a lightning bolt here. This clue's either going to draw a lightning bolt or we're going to be concede. Flying is acceptable because flying offers counterplay. You can have counterplay with flying. The donation queue is open as normal again today, by the way. Let me take Thaw out of the title there. Just put it back with donation decks. All right, we're dead. Got it. This is definitely, you know, these games that we've lost so far are the style of matchup that I would be worried about playing with a deck like this. These decks that are linear and aren't trying to interact with you, like these 6 pieces of interaction, generally speaking, aren't enough to be competitive in matches like this in my experience. So while I think this deck is probably very reasonable against other mid-range decks and Jeskai and Mardu and stuff like that, I think these decks like Elves and Storm and Burn, like these decks are gonna just run us out of the game a good portion of the time. Better than Panza. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I guess Panza at least has the perspective of being able to play acceleration, and acceleration goes a long way to like smoothing out decks that have clunkier draws. Double removal spell Tarmogoyf. So if we ever had a hand that could win this matchup, it probably involves double removal spell Tarmogoyf on the play. We get land enchantment instant here. So that's 3 for our Traverse. No, I really don't enjoy playing Panza. I don't think Panza's a particularly good or exciting deck. How come you didn't get a God account for Arena? I don't understand. Why doesn't Wizards of the Coast love me? I don't understand, chat. I'm one of the top 3 streamers of their game. Why don't they love me? Yeah, Panza is green-red land destruction, for those that aren't familiar with the vernacular. Yeah, Defizzy man, but I'd argue if you don't have enough interaction that you need to leave Thoughtseize in like that, then your deck's not constructed with the burn matchup in mind. And that's fine. People can and should give up matchups that they just don't think they're going to be able to win in Modern. Like, that's a valid strategy. But I do think that, like, if you have Thoughtseize in your deck, then your deck's not constructed with burn in mind post-board. Super excited to trade these off, because that means once I add this bolt to the yard, I'm gonna be able to cast this Traverse with Delirium. Not that that really gets us anything useful here, does it? I guess Rhonas is actually pretty okay here, huh? It's like another 5/5. I mean, Chain Whirler's not even good here, right? Like, they just have, like, an Elvish Mystic and a Nettle Sentinel. I definitely think, like, while our mana base here, we can definitely cast a Chain Whirler. I think, on average, Chain Whirler is going to be pretty uncastable in this deck. Morning Card Bard. Relevant Magic-related links are always welcome in chat. Ooh, Huntmaster's an interesting one. I guess that card's pretty good in matches like this. Well, they are about to go super wide, right? Maybe this Rhonas pushing Tarmogoyf through can let us deal lethal, but the draw 4 on the lead the Stampede is pretty brutal. We really need to draw either our Clasm or our Kozilek's Return here. Well, now Whirly Boy's looking like he'd be pretty good, huh? Well, I mean, Rhonas hands out trample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they could all block the Tarmogoyf here, right? We might see a quad block here. Alright, deal. Give him a Dork Trample. Maybe this was a bad attack because they could quad block. Maybe they're worried about Lightning Bolt there, though. I guess I showed them a good bit of removal. I don't know, I feel like if I was them, I'd have almost quad blocked just because, like, I need to quad block to, like, win the game. Like, if they took the Goyf off the table, they'd be in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I'm not saying Chain Whirler in general is bad against Elves. I was just saying, like, in the board state when people were bringing up Chain Whirler, it was not particularly impressive. Like, Chain Whirler is certainly a card that's, like, reasonable in this matchup if you have access to and can make triple red consistently. Is this a Mathis for blockers attack? It feels like a Mathis for blockers attack. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Six mana cards are incredibly slow in Modern, like to an absurd degree. Yeah, I think that was just a we have nothing left, let's attack and see how you'd block on this board state. Again, Tarmogoyf looking pretty unimpressive. I don't think I can keep a hand that does nothing at 7 in this matchup. That this can check your close 7 into unkeepable 6 off your bingo boards. And the bottom of that, looking for another green source that's untapped. Do I want to kill this Nettle Sentinel? I don't know. The Seal of Fire and Tarfire are fine. I understand why they're here. They're like here to pump Tarmogoyf and help enable Delirium. And like Seal of Fire in general is actually a pretty okay card in Modern, just because it's a card that you get to invest your mana up front and still have interaction on the board while tapping out. This type of effect is like very good against decks like Infect, for instance. Seal of Primordium sees play in Modern on occasion. So this is, you have to kind of pick how you want to fight when you're playing against Elves, depending on like what your hand looks like and what your removal is like. So I have to decide, do I want to fight this style of matchup on the axis of killing their individual weaker elves, or do I want to play it on the axis of trying to kill their like Nettle Sentinels and Land War elves and stuff like that? Or do I want to save my removal for like their Archdruids and their clan colors? Hopefully Grafdigger's Cage is an absurd draw and they've got a bunch of collected companies in their hand. I'm choosing not to kill the Landmore Elf with the Seal of Fire because I would rather reserve this Seal of Fire for killing their payoffs, their lords, their 2 and 3 mana cards. Yeah, the Dryad Arbor is definitely in this deck for enabling your fetch lands to Smuggler's Copter. Oh, geez, you're gonna... I told you to pick and you're gonna let chat pick? If you love me, you won't let chat pick what I'm getting for lunch. Oh, look at that, chat. Chat's picking reasonable things. God bless you, chat. I take back most of the bad things I've said about you. Okay, the extra land, the untapped land here is great. Getting to play Tarmogoyf plus leave Lightning Bolt up here is everything we want to be doing. It lets us be able to kill another Lord if they play it out and then block something in combat and maybe not quite be low enough to lose this game. If they have like double Clan Caller here, we're going to be in trouble, but if they don't have double Clan Caller, we should be pretty okay. This bolt is pretty good. So we get to kill this. We take 2. If we hit... Honestly, lands and spells are both pretty good at this point. Fetch land is absurd. The Candyman can. 'Cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. Do-do-do-do. Irish breakfast, 7 pints of Guinness and a potato. All right, well, if we don't get burned out by Shaman of the Pax, we should be in a pretty good spot here. At least we're no longer clueless. We've got that going for ourselves. I'm actually going to go ahead and smack with this Tarmogoyf. I need to start killing them so we don't get burned out by a Shaman here. Obviously, worst case scenario is they draw a Forest Walk Lord, which we saw a copy of game 1, so we know they're playing them. They have an Elvis champion. We're just dead to that. Okie doke. Do I have an opinion on all of this? Not really. Whatever you feel like you getting yourself for lunch, just get me something from there. Well, there's the Elvis champion. And they have a Heritage Druid as well. Why have all their Lead the Stampedes been draw fours, chat? Why has every Lead the Stampede been a draw four? Good news. We get 2 shots at a Klasm or K-Return next turn, and if we draw a land, we get a 3rd shot at them, so... Or a 3rd shot at Klasm. Although I guess if they play... Oh, they drew another Nandle Sentinel too. I guess if they play the Azuri, they're going to be able to regenerate. I think we're actually just dead. If they play this right, we shouldn't be able to come back. Also worth noting that, like, Lead to Stampede gets around Grafdigger's Cage, which is a big deal. Like, the fact that your card advantage isn't stopped by the sideboard card is great. If we draw Pyroclasm, we get to attack for lethal. No, I lied. They only have to regenerate Elvis Champion. I lied. Maybe it's still okay because they have to tap Elves for mana. There's a world where we're okay here if we draw a Pyroclasm. Yeah, they have to tap to regen. I think if we hit a sweeper, we're gonna be okay. I don't know, let's just like start our turn and see what happens. That's all she wrote, right? Yeah, that's all she wrote. Bolt doesn't accomplish anything. Oh, because they'd have to regenerate this. Yeah, I guess that's fine. We'll take one more shot at it. And again, not really surprised to see this matchup really go in this direction. We're doing something that's kind of fair and kind of mid-rangey, and we're able to beat humans. Some of humans more interactive draws. And we were able to. We died to Burn and died to Elves. That's about how I'd expect a deck like this to go. While we're waiting for the fourth match in this league to pop, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. Welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here streaming Magic 30+ hours a week. We focus primarily on Modern on this channel. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without all of their help. Past that, you can support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I'd love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. Honey is a free browser add-on that when you install it using link bit.ly/HoogelHoney, you'll be supporting my content at absolutely no cost to yourself. What Honey does is quite awesome. When you're shopping online, if it looks at the stuff that you're putting in your shopping cart anyways and searches online automatically for coupon codes to save you money on the things you were planning to buy to begin with. Lisa would like to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 6 weeks now, and we truly enjoy it. Lisa provides foam mattresses, and I don't think we'd ever go back to a traditional pillow top. You can check out links bit.ly/HoogelBedUS and bit.ly/HoogelBedCA to save $160 or more on your new mattress with Lisa. And we'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. Please talk to your friendly neighborhood moderator about receiving your complimentary timeout. Honey does work in the UK. There's a page on their site talking about the different places that they work. It attempts to work regardless of where you are, but it works better in certain countries than others. Andre Ricker, thanks for checking out Honey. I appreciate it. Will you have a specific long stream such as Burn last time coming? No, I don't really have any special events type stuff coming up, Armor Tech. If we manage to make our way up to 2,000 sub points at some point, I might do something special for that, but that would probably just be like a normal-ish long stream where I just like play decks out of the queue. That's funny that there's a card called Timeout. You You considered having a day where you go in reverse and play the decks from the bottom of the queue? Nah, that's like, that like goes against everything that we believe in here. We are heading towards 30k followers, that's true. Followers don't really translate to dollar dues though. I think I'm gonna play, do I play Courser? I think I want to play Courser here for the sake of being mana efficient. While it's gonna feel exceptionally bad if my opponent Liliana edicts me, the Courser going to the graveyard being an enchantment creature will enable Delirium for my traverses, which is nice. No, I'm really not a fan of Eternal's gameplay. Eternal is basically like Magic Light, and I really don't feel like a game like Magic makes a good soundbite 5-minute game. Eternal, the reason why I stopped playing it is because they sacrifice what felt like a lot of strategic value for the sake of making gameplay faster, and that really just wasn't what I was interested in playing. I personally enjoy Hearthstone more for that style of quick soundbite gameplay. I played a little bit of Test Legends, but not enough to really have an educated or informed opinion on it. What am I getting here? Oh, I 10 out of 10 and just Magus in the Mooning them and hoping they don't have a bolt, right? Yeah, that sounds great. Welcome to Thunderdome. Sponsors to a degree look to followers, but by and large, Magic streams don't have enough viewer numbers to really register largely with a ton of sponsors. So like the average concurrent viewers that anybody gets through Magic like really isn't that high in relation to like what people get streaming other games. So while I do pick up some money from sponsors, a majority of the income I make here on Twitch is from people directly supporting me via subscriptions or the donation decks that we do here. That is not how Magic works. Good try, though. Good try. They just tried to put, I think they incorrectly thought that, that discarding a card from their hand triggered Revolt. I think they misunderstood the Revolt mechanic a little bit there. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up a Tracker's good to get going here. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up Raging Ravine so that way if they do deal with Magus of the Moon, I have another threat in play and it makes me a clue for the Tracker, which is nice. Magus of the Moon kindly making Raging Ravine come into play untapped because he's a bro. I mean, definitely a small mistake on the opponent's part, but we don't necessarily know that they, like, had better plays to be making. I guess they could have had a fatal push for our Tarmogoyf now. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this style of matchup is actually okay for this archetype. I think these mid-range and control matchups are the ones where this deck really has the tools to be competitive, whereas where it's going to struggle against some of the more linear interactive decks, linear non-interactive decks in the format. This deck is pretty good at making Tarmogoyf large in the long term, which is sweet. Do I want these cards? So I know Blood Moon and Magus just won us that game, but I'm actually going to board them out here because I think my opponent's going to be more prepared for them post-board. I need to cut 3 more cards to fit all of these things in. Is Renegades good enough to keep? I guess Renegades is one of our best ways to kill opposing Tarmogoyfs, which is nice. Domri Rade probably isn't particularly good here. Trimming Copter does kind of make sense. It also gets caught by Culligan's command. Yeah, I like that logic. We just want like more individual threats, and this increases our total creature density, which in turn makes Domri Rade a little bit better. Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. This Dryad Arbor has been super awkward. I feel like we've drawn this Dryad Arbor a disproportionate number of times for the number of games that we've played. It was a fantastic draw. Seems a little bit weak to Dark Confidant. I don't have a way to take that off the table currently. This is a donation list, just like most of the things we play here. The only deck I'm really working on personally at the moment is the blue-red tempo deck, which we're going to wrap up today with later. I'm actually going to lead on Scavenging Ooze here. Although I feel like if they had a Lightning Bolt, they probably would have killed the Renegade. Do regular subs get to move decks in the queue? Details on how the donation decks work are here. And feel free to click on that link. And if you have any questions about specifics, feel free to let me know. It just saves me from having to repeat all the details. Am I allowed to sit? Is this loud if I sit here and flick cards? This is probably super obnoxious in the microphone, right? I need to put these down. I can't have magic cards near me. If magic cards are in my hand, I sit there and I flick them. It's one of the things Christy hates most. Just call it ASMR and you're good. I'm the reason Christy has to sleeve all of our board games. Otherwise, I destroy them. Yep, Christy hates it. Flicked cards while he played. Well, that's sad. I'm just gonna lose this Goyf here. That's not particularly impressive against us until you look at this Dryad Arbor in our hand and go, why, Dryad Arbor? Why are you in my deck? Sorry, I had to get through that real quick. Oh, you know what? I should have shocked that in to make this bigger, right? Yeah, 10 out of 10 should have shocked that in to make this bigger. Same mistake on my part. Hopefully it doesn't cost us. Tireless Tracker is all that is true and pure about Magic. You're not wrong. And again, like, looking at this kind of awkwardness, it's turn 5 at this point, and, like, there's still only 2 card types in my discard pile, which kind of sucks for us. KMS, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. So they're at 0 cards in hand, so I'm going to go ahead and kill this and then play Dryad Arbor out here, I think. They do get to go to town on my graveyard with the Scavenging Ooze, but the Renegade keeps it in check. But I also just, like, don't have a good way to kill a large Scavenging Ooze, right? Outside of, like, this blocking inside of combat, this is going to be, like, just this perpetual brick wall in play. I'm going to hold on to this land in my hand because we could draw another Tireless Tracker. I'm going to go ahead and start racing with this, I think. Now, I'm not going to attack just yet because if they fire up a creature land, I'd like to Field of Root it. So, the reason people flick Magic cards in a competitive setting isn't to be annoying. It is one of those technically a small competitive advantage things to sit there and flick the cards in your hand while you play. Because technically, rearranging the order of the cards in your hand makes it so your opponent can't determine when you drew a specific card, which means they have less information about how you were sequencing your plays based on when the cards you picked up got played. The best way to ensure that you are consistently doing that is to always be doing it, said Mephisto. The best way to not forget to do it is to always be doing it. I know the reason I do it while I play is because of the slight advantage you're supposed to gain from it. I am definitely one of those people where if I'm investing energy to try and do something, I'm going to do everything in my power to do it well. Practice makes perfect. Because I've trained myself. I've trained myself for that competitive advantage. It's muscle memory at this point. If you're holding cards, you should be shuffling them for a competitive advantage. Let's get to the third game here. That was the second game, right? They didn't really play around Blood Moon that game. Get back in here. How do we feel about cutting a Domri? I think cards that generate extra cards are important in this matchup. I want to keep this against a deck full of discard spells. I think I'm inclined to agree, Nexus Vix. So, I feel like a deck like this that's going to struggle against the fast linear decks in the format really has to be able to like go over the top and dunk every fair deck possible. And this game, this match, doesn't feel like something that I'm winning by a significant margin. It feels very close. So if the matches where I'm competitive are close, and the matches where I'm not competitive, I'm having a really hard time, like, that generally means my deck's not very good or not powerful enough, right? DeFizzy Man with the $10 donation. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. This is for a deck in the queue. Please put this towards the Mardu Undead deck I sent you recently. Will do. In the future, please make sure to link the deck in the queue when you donate as well. But I will be able to get that sorted, no problem. I think because I have Mom and Pop Thopter Shop next turn, I want to just jam the Courser here. We're drawing another land next turn. Well, that means we're not getting Liliana this turn at least. It's red-green cards that aren't good enough for Modern plus Tracker. I mean, Lightning Bolt's good enough for Modern, Diva. Lightning Bolt's like a Modern legal card. God bless, I get to shuffle away this Traverse that doesn't do anything. Also, I think, and this has been my experience not just in this deck, but just like decks playing Traverse the Ulvenwald in general. Traverse the Ulvenwald consistently feels to me every time I play it in Modern, like this card is super hard to enable. It always feels to me like the decks that are playing Traverse the Ulvenwald are working really hard to make the card playable, and then it ends up still not being that playable. I want to say thank you for introducing me to my new girlfriend, Hakan. I never knew love could be this sweet. The Knights deck we played yesterday is quite awesome, Rick. If you haven't watched the Abzan Lompox video from yesterday, that one is definitely worth your time. No blocks. Bob's on my team. Yeah, Traverse has the Grimflayer problem. I feel like you get incentivized to play cards that aren't very good on average, and then the payoff just like isn't really there. Gosh, this Domri can't even hit after we play a land off the top with Courser, chat. And there's a Scavenging Ooze in the bin, so none of my cards are big enough to fight the Scavenging Ooze. Just everything feels bad, man. We're drawing another land next turn. It's a creature land, so Domri should get it, right? That's what I'm saying. We should petition for Domri to be able to get creature land. I'm actually going to go ahead and attack them with these Thopters, because I think if their Bob's a little bit kind to us, we can probably pressure them out of the game with these. Morning, Superfluous. That is not the kindness we needed Bob to deliver to us. That's a bolt. I assume Mom and Pop are going to eat it here. Worth noting that they didn't leave up an extra green for their Scavenging Ooze here, which implies to me they probably have a Fatal Push. So long, Domri, my old friend. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, we're gonna be done with this one. Feedback on this. Just to be concise at the end, I'm gonna summarize what. There are so many games you scoop that blow my mind. Did you think I was in, like, that game? Did you think I was winning that game? The game where I had no spells to play? Like, what is the result of winning that game look like from there? Can you, like, construct something in my mind? Just, like, trying till the end? Like, Bob Flips Emrakul is, like, the out, right? Like, even if Bob hit, like, running Bloodbraid Elves, we were going to die. Yeah, all right, I'm not going to get into it with people. Bruce By went on a rant yesterday about playing every match out to the end. And, like, I get that when you're playing in a setting where, like, you're playing for significant prizes and, like, you have to wait an hour for your next match anyways. But, yeah. I mean, I was literally having to chump block and then be dead on board. Let's talk about this deck, though. So this deck is both too slow and clunky to keep up with decks like Burn and Elves, which are two of the decks that we lost to. And this deck is also not grindy enough or over the top enough to be able to punish decks like Jund and Jeskai enough to win the game. So I feel like this archetype, to me, feels like it has a bunch of matchups where you're going to really struggle while simultaneously not having matchups that you get to dunk on. And I feel like in a format like Modern, if you're going to have hard matchups, that's fine. Most decks have some hard matchups. You need matchups that you get to dunk on that are also popular to balance that out. In order to take a deck that's going to have some matchup variance in it, you need to have some free wins to make up for those games that are almost free losses. That being said, and this is going to be another video if you're watching on YouTube, I think this style of direction to take this green-red style deck, I think is a great way to take it. We're going to play this next tier. We've got Path to Exiles for quality removal. It's got some Noble Hierarchs in order to accelerate out these trackers and these other threats a little bit faster. All right.